What is the weight of a silence that was meant to be a bridge? What is the cost of a truth that lives and breathes in the quiet spaces between heartbeats but never finds the courage to become sound? Have you ever stood on the shore of someone you love, watching the light in their window, your feet frozen in the sand, the tide of your own longing pulling at your soul, whispering, "Go, they are right there, go home." But a force, ancient and cold, has turned your bones to anchors. Your heart is a clenched fist in your chest, not of anger, but of a fear so profound it has become a physical law. To step forward is to risk annihilation, not of the body, but of the carefully constructed self you have built to survive. This is not a story of games. This is not about power. This is the anatomy of a silent war waged in the most sacred battlefield, the human soul. It's the story of the one who built a fortress around their heart, stone by stone, with the rubble of past wounds they never knew how to name. They stand at the parapet, looking out at the very love they crave, their hand resting on the drawbridge lever. Every fiber of their being yearns to lower it, to let the light flood in, to be seen, to be known. But their hand will not move. The words get stuck in the labyrinth of their mind. I miss you. I was wrong. I am here. They play the conversation 1,000 times, a perfect, beautiful reunion that lives only in the private theater of their mind. But when the moment comes to speak, the only thing that escapes is distance. A quiet text left unanswered. A memory shared on a social media story, hoping they'll see it. A question asked about something trivial, when the only real question is, can you still see me? Am I too far gone? This is the deafening scream of a soul trying to come home, trapped behind a wall of its own design, speaking a language of quiet signals that no one else can hear. Imagine a library where every book is written in a language only you can read. The stories are epic, filled with passion, reconciliation, and a love that heals all wounds. You can feel the texture of the pages, smell the ink, hear the satisfying crack of the spine as you play the narrative in your mind. This library is your inner world, a sanctuary where everything is possible because nothing is real. This is where you live when the fear of the outside world becomes too loud. You don't see it as retreat, you see it as preservation. In here, you can craft the perfect moment, the perfect sentence that will make everything right. You rehearse it until it's a symphony. But the moment you step from the silence of that library into the noisy, unpredictable world of actual human connection, the symphony falters. The words that felt so profound in your mind now feel clumsy, dangerous, like handing someone a live wire and hoping they know how to hold it without being shocked. So you say nothing, or you say something safe, something mundane. You make a joke. You talk about the weather. You send a song lyric into the digital void, a cryptic message in a bottle, hoping the right person finds it on the shore and understands the entire ocean of meaning behind it. This is the first great tragedy of the silent return, the translation of a soul's epic poem into the faintest of whispers, a sigh that gets lost in the wind. You believe that if they truly loved you, they would decipher the code. You are speaking the language of your longing, forgetting that you are the only one who holds the dictionary. The love you desire is waiting for you in the real world, in the messy, unscripted, and vulnerable space of a spoken word. But you remain the curator of your silent museum, admiring the perfect statues of what could be while life, imperfect and beautiful, happens just outside the door. There is a phantom limb of the soul. It's the ghost of a connection that was, or the echo of one that could have been. You feel its presence constantly, a dull ache where intimacy used to live. You go through your days, you complete your tasks, you maintain your independence like a well-fortified citadel. But then, in the quiet of the night, or when a certain song plays, or when you see a couple laughing in a way that feels both foreign and deeply familiar, you feel it. The phantom limb reaches out. It's an impulse to call, to text, to drive to their house and just be. It's a visceral, physical pull back toward the warmth you walked away from. But just as the nerve endings of a severed limb can scream with pain at a mere memory, so too does this emotional phantom limb send waves of pure terror through your system. The brain's alarm bells ring, not just softly, but with the force of a hurricane siren. Danger. Vulnerability detected, systems compromise imminent. And so, you do the only thing your nervous system knows how to do to ensure survival. You retreat, you shut down. You rationalize, they're probably busy, it's too late, I'd just be bothering them. They've moved on by now. You mistake the screaming of your fear for the voice of logic. This push-pull isn't a game, it's a civil war. One part of you, the deepest, most essential part, knows that your wholeness is on the other side of that connection. The other part, the protector, the part that built the walls, is convinced that your survival depends on staying within them, so you remain in this agonizing limbo, feeling the pull of your own heart with one hand while the other hand builds the wall ever higher. You are both the prisoner and the warden, the homesick traveler and the one who threw away the map. Your independence is your masterpiece, and your isolation is its shadow. You have learned to be an island, a self-sustaining ecosystem of one. You pride yourself on needing no one. You pay your own bills, fix your own leaks, soothe your own aches. This competence is a shield polished to a brilliant shine. You present it to the world as strength, and in many ways it is. But look closer. See the reflection in that shield. It's not just strength you see there. It's also a profound loneliness that you have mistaken for peace. This is the great paradox. You have become so strong that you have made yourself untouchable. You have confused interdependence with enmeshment, connection with consumption. The thought of needing someone feels like a regression, a failure of the very survival skills that have kept you safe. So when the longing to come back arises, it isn't a simple desire for companionship. It feels like a threat to your entire identity. To reach out is to admit, I cannot do this alone. And to your psyche, that statement is synonymous with, I am not enough. So you stay in your fortress of one, mistaking the echo of your own footsteps for the sound of a full life. You tell yourself you are free. But true freedom isn't the absence of needing others. It's the courage to be needed and to need in return without losing yourself. You are the captain of a ship that never docks, celebrating your mastery of the open sea while slowly dying of thirst. Surrounded by an ocean of fresh water you refuse to drink because you're terrified of what might be living in it. You are an archaeologist of your own ruin, gently brushing the dust from the artifacts of a love you walked away from. You find a forgotten photo, a saved voice message, the scent of them on a sweater you forgot to return. And in these moments, the dam of your intellectualization breaks. You are flooded not just with memory, but with the raw, unfiltered emotion you so skillfully avoided at the time. You feel the loss not as a concept, but as a physical weight on your chest. You see with brutal clarity the pattern. The wall didn't just appear. You built it, brick by brick, with every time you swallowed a protest, with every time you chose silence over a difficult conversation, with every time you interpreted their love as a demand and your own need as a weakness. This awakening, excruciating. It is the death of the story you told yourself, the story where you were the self-sufficient hero, the lone wolf who simply didn't need the pack. You see the collateral damage, you see the confusion in their eyes when you left, the patience they offered that you interpreted as pressure, the love they gave that you experienced as a chain. This realization is a storm that washes everything clean, and it is in this storm that the first seed of true change is planted. It is no longer about getting them back, it is about understanding why you left in the first place. It is about meeting that younger version of you who learned that to be attached was to be in danger, and finally offering them the safety they have always been searching for. The journey home is not a path back to someone else, it is the descent into the cavern of your own being. This is where you must go alone. This is where you learn a new language, the language of your own heart. It starts with a whisper, sitting in the silence without distractions, and simply asking, what am I feeling? Not thinking, but feeling. Is there a tightness in my throat? A hollow in my stomach? A pressure behind my eyes? You learn to name it. Grief, fear, shame, loneliness. You allow these sensations to be there without running, without numbing, without building a story around them. You become the compassionate witness to your own inner world. This is the practice of building internal safety. It is the slow, meticulous work of proving to yourself that you will not abandon you, that you can handle your own emotions. You start to set microscopic boundaries and honors tiny commitments to yourself. You go for that walk you promised yourself. You turn off the movie that's making you feel anxious. You speak a small, kind truth to yourself in the mirror. You are okay. You are safe. I am here with you. This is how you rewire the system. You are teaching your soul at a cellular level that connection, starting with the connection to yourself, is not a threat. It is the very source of your strength. You are no longer the prisoner in the fortress. You are slowly, gently taking the fortress apart stone by stone and using the materials to build a home within yourself, a home with an open door. And then, one day, you understand. The coming back was never about a grand gesture toward another person. It was about the quiet, moment-by-moment return to your own authenticity. It was about unbecoming the fortress and remembering yourself as a living, breathing, feeling being. The peace you find is not the absence of desire for connection. It is the certainty that you are whole, with or without it. You release the outcome. You may send that text, or you may not. You may have the conversation, or you may hold it as a sacred part of your healing journey. But the energy behind it is entirely different. It is no longer a desperate signal flare from a sinking ship. It is a lighthouse standing firm on the shore, shining its light steadily. It says, I am here. I have done my work. I am no longer afraid of my own depth, and I am no longer afraid of yours. Whether the other person sees the light and sails home is not the point. The point is that you have become the lighthouse. You are no longer lost at sea. You are grounded. You are solid. You are home. And from this place, your relationships, past, present, and future, are forever transformed. They are no longer a threat to your survival, but a potential celebration of your wholeness. This journey from the silent prison of avoidance to the emancipated peace of self-ownership is perhaps the most profound pilgrimage a human soul can undertake. It is a path walked not with feet, but with courage, not in miles, but in moments of brutal self-honesty. It requires you to lay down the weapons of defense you have carried for a lifetime, and to face the world with an open heart, trusting not that it will not break you, but that you now possess the strength to mend yourself. You are learning that the voice you feared was too weak to be heard was in fact the only voice that ever needed to be heard, your own. To the one who feels the ache of the phantom limb, who lives in the silent library of what-ifs, know this, your distance was never a measure of your capacity to love. It was a testament to the depth of your fear, a fear born from a time when love felt conditional, unsafe, or fleeting. You are not broken. You are a masterpiece of adaptation. But the season for that particular survival strategy has passed. The winter is over. The thaw has begun, and it is messy, and it is painful, and it is the most beautiful thing you will ever do. And to the one who loves or loved an avoidant soul, may this offer you a window into a world you could never quite understand. Their silence was not an absence of love, but a love drowning in the storm of their own fear. Their retreat was not a rejection of you, but a desperate attempt to protect a self they were not sure how to hold. Your worth was never, ever in question. Your patience, your love, your presence, it was all seen. It was all felt. It was the very beacon that made them want to find their way home, even when they didn't know how. So let this be the end of the silent war. Let this be the moment you grant yourself a peace treaty, signed with the ink of your own tears and the breath of your own courage. The drawbridge is yours to lower. The language is yours to learn. The home is yours to build. First within yourself, and then, and only then, with another. The world is waiting for the song you have been too afraid to sing. It's time to let it out. Thank you for having the courage to journey into these deep waters with me. If this resonated with you, if you felt a shift, a click, a release, then our work here has begun. Share this with one person who needs to hear it. This is your mind shift movement. Until next time, stay courageous.